Yeah, I am stressed out. Okay. I am stressed out, y'all. Hey y'all. Happy happy Tuesday. I'm stressed out. Hey, what's up from H Town? I see you. Hey y'all. I'm stressed out, y'all. I'm so stressed today. Cause I just had a whole interview. I had a whole don't let that job stress you. I know that's right. Amen. But no, I just had a whole job interview and I felt like I bombed it. Like I felt like I did so horrible on this job interview. But you know what? It's in God's hands at this point. Go ahead and give it to God. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna be mad. It is what it is. So yeah, that's why I'm at with it. Job interview go good. I felt like I bombed it. I felt like it wasn't up to my standards. You know what I'm saying? I was nervous, number one. Number two, you know, I just felt like I just didn't do a good job. Like I just felt like it was just mediocre. Like it was just like blah. When you have like the standards of yourself, like you know that you have all the capability of being great and doing great things. When you get in a moment, you have these jitters or something. Like you have like this nervous feeling that come over you, and sometimes like I felt like in this moment for me, I overtalked when it should have just been straight cut and dry, simple, and that's it. But I felt like I overtalked in this situation. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey y'all. Hey y'all that's coming in. Y'all type screenshot it live. But yeah, y'all, like I just felt like I just did too much. But like somebody just said in the you know, I can't talk today. I can't talk today. Like I don't know what it is. Like somebody just said in the whatchamacall in the comments. What's for you is gonna be for you. That's it, that's all. Hey, what's up? Hey y'all. Y'all feeling my little vibe today? Y'all feeling my whole vibe today? I gotta redo my hair though, but y'all see it. Hey y'all, I hope y'all enjoying y'all day. I hope y'all day was better than mine. I've been over here just stressed out, but we gonna get through it. Listen. So whew, listen. I'm gonna say this. Let me take this out of my mouth because you're beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful. I appreciate it. Hello, beautiful. Hello, beautiful. Yes, honey child. Listen. So listen. Where you get the earrings at? Sheen. They came from Sheen, I think. Don't get me the line. I think they came from Sheen. I've had them for about 4 or 5 years now. These are my favorite. These are my favorite earrings in the whole wide world. These are my favorite. I think I got them from Sheen though. But yeah, y'all. Let me come on here and vent to y'all real quick, cause I know somebody gonna feel me today. Okay, listen. Thank you. I appreciate it. Listen. So I just feel like sometimes we as people we go over and beyond, and we try our best to allow people to basically get what they want out of us, right? And we always talk about this in my live, but we're not doing no chasing. We're not chasing nobody in 2025. I don't know who needed to hear that specifically, but we're not chasing nobody in 2025, baby. If they want to go, let them go. If they don't call you and check on you, don't call and check on them. If they don't reach out to you to actually reciprocate the energy that you give, baby, listen, let me tell y'all something. We wreck our brain way too much as people because we try our hardest to do everything that everybody don't do for us. Hello? Okay? Hey, Gab. I don't be having time for that because some folks be trying to label you and put you in this position. And listen, I'm over it. When I tell y'all I'm already drained, 2025 is already drained me, and we just getting started. We in the first month, or we're about to get ready to end the first month and I'm drained, y'all. Don't I look tired? I am tired. When I tell y'all I am tired, like I am so like overstimulated. That's the word. I'm overstimulated mentally. Spiritually, I'm overstimulated. You want to know why? Because I feel like sometimes I have went into overdrive in situations that I ain't have no business going into overdrive about. I need that shirt. Not to be off topic. Thank you. I appreciate it. I had this. I think I got this from Plato's Closet. About 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, I don't shop like that no more because I got too many clothes. But yeah, y'all, I'm just so tired. I'm overstimulated. I ain't gonna say tired. I'm overstimulated. I'm trying, y'all. I really am. I'm trying to be in my soft girl era. I'm trying to be just mindful of how I deliver things and why did you sue? Who sued the Lyft driver? I'm trying to be, I'm just trying. Y'all understand what I'm saying when I say when you try your hardest and you just be trying to hold on and then it feel like you ain't got nothing to hold on to. Man, I'm telling you, that mental capacity is serious. Okay? A lot of folks don't take it serious. But the reality of it is you got to learn how to check on yourself, because sometimes we don't give ourselves like enough, not only grace, but we don't check on ourselves enough. Like with me, I don't, if I'm moving and everything is going good for me, I don't really just sit down, because when you always on go all the time, it gets it gets overbearing and overstimulating. Like, I'm just so tired. But I say all of this to say this. This is a season of reassurance. This past month, I have got a whole bunch of reassurance that I did not ask for. And I feel like that's how this whole year is going to be. And sometimes you got to understand, like, you got to be willing to allow yourself to be in this space of being able to accept wherever you are, right? And sometimes we as people, we don't, because we be so busy moving, and we don't. It's been full of signs. Like this whole month has been full of signs. Let me tell y'all something. When you do the work, walking away from people that don't mean you well no longer hurts you. In 2025, I can say I have felt that feeling for the first time ever in my life already. Because when you realize that people don't do you or treat you the way you treat them, or people don't allow you to be yourself the way you allow them to be their self, you'll realize that a lot of times it only disappoints you and it only hurts you because you're still trying to hold on to things and people that don't mean you no good. Okay? Over the years, you might cry about it. You might get upset about it. You might want to, scream at the top of your lungs. You might want to, cuss somebody out or whatever, however you express yourself. But sometimes when you sit in silence and you realize that doing all of that is not going to do anything but put you in a space of being stressed out and being in your head and overthinking a lot of times. So I am experiencing that right now, and I'm grateful that I have been able to go through enough to not only realize it, but accept it. Sometimes you got to be willing to accept whatever it is that you're going through in this space or in this season of your life. Regardless of how you feel about it in the flesh, sometimes you got to understand your spirit is doing something different within you, which is why it doesn't make you feel the way it used to, right? Walking away from people, cutting people off, leaving folks behind. Like choosing yourself first is the most hardest thing that you'll probably ever have to do. But let me tell you something. It got the greatest benefit in the end. When you choose yourself first over everything and everybody else, people don't have no choice but to respect you. People don't have no choice but to love you. People don't have no choice but to not be around you if they don't want to. Because some of y'all got to understand that part too. Like, some folks don't like to be around you because since you have made yourself a priority, that means that they're no longer a priority. And I had to realize that too. Like, I can't get mad at people walking away from me. I can't get mad at people for not choosing me. That's okay. Because let me tell you something. We not for everybody. I have learned that. And I had to get out my head a lot of times because I'm over here suffering and overthinking, thinking something wrong with me when really and truly it's nothing wrong with me. It was just the fact that I was in the wrong spaces in my life because I didn't know no better. Some of y'all got to realize that that's what happens when we come from broken families. We try to fit in so much and we try so hard. But really and truly, you were birthed into something that was broken. But that don't mean you have to be broken. Okay? So what I had to understand was I had to accept the fact that my broken family isn't going to accept the whole vision that I have for my life or that God has for my life. They're not going to accept it. You want to know why? Because if they're broken, how are they going to accept anything that's whole without them actually doing the work and fixing themselves first? So you got to realize that. How many times are you going to go around broken people trying to get them to see you? How many times are you going to go around people that don't understand you, that don't love you, that don't reciprocate the energy that you give? Regardless if y'all got the same last name or not, that means nothing. What I have realized is when you chosen, you create your own narrative over your life. But the fact that some of us have craved love for so long, we have allowed other people that was attached to us create the narratives for us. Because sometimes you ain't got to always be in a space where you ain't, you're allowing your attachments to people overshadow the work that you have to do within yourself in order for you to get to where you're going. So what I have learned is, in order for me to be where I need to be, I got to place myself on a pedestal where I belong. Because see, some folks want you to do everything that they want you to do because some folks live vicariously through you. Come on now. You're allowing certain people and certain things to live vicariously through you, which is why you have put yourself in a position of always losing. And the reason that you're losing is because you haven't really lived up to your own hype. So I had to learn that too. So if I let people live vicariously through me, do you know how many times I would fail at a mission that I was not set to be out on? Some of y'all got to understand that too. Some of y'all sign up for missions that wasn't your mission in the first place. Some of y'all sign up for missions that wasn't your mission in the first place. And the only reason I know is because I'm a true example of it. I was signing up for missions that I wasn't even supposed to be on. Sometimes you got to realize, like, choosing other people's happiness over yours is what caused you to go into depression. Because that's what makes you feel like you're not enough. One thing I had to understand was that part right there. Most of the time when I felt like I wasn't enough was because I was trying so hard to be everything that everybody else wanted me to be. My depression ain't never came from me. My depression came from people that was in my life that wanted me to be certain versions of myself to satisfy them. I ain't never just been in a space where, like I said, I've never told myself, you know what, I'm so disappointed in you. No, because everything that I have wanted to do, whether I succeeded at it or not, I've always been proud because that was just something that I needed to try to see how far I can go. But the fact that I done sat in a lot of seats or sat in a lot of spaces and tried my best to be something that I wasn't for other people, that's what made me go into depression. Because now those situations make you feel like you're not doing enough, you're not enough, and that's why it always feel like you're behind. Sometimes we allow other people's perspective of who we are to rush us into spaces that we don't belong in. Sometimes you got to realize that too. When you're always in a space and you're always allowing folks to say that you got to do this or say that you got to do that, no. You got to realize that most of the time, the people that are living vicariously through you are the ones that don't have lives for themselves. So they choose you by manipulating you, by mentally abusing you, and place you in this position of making you feel like you're not enough just so they can live through you, because they know that the access wouldn't be granted if they was by themselves. Sometimes you got to realize that's what we call using the favor. Some folks will use your favor because they know access will be denied if they went by themselves. One thing I had to understand was that part right there. Y'all can't sit up here and make me believe that all these people wanted you to do everything that they wanted to do, and they haven't accomplished it, maybe because they have not tried. Some folks become so lazy that they will much rather put the pressure on somebody else that's closest to them so they can live vicariously through you. What I had to understand was that part right there. My attachment to toxic people made me realize a lot of times that it wasn't that I was doing anything wrong. It was just that I decided not to do what they wanted me to do, which is when everything started to go into an uproar. Some of y'all got to understand that when you have attachments to people and you're not doing what they want you to do, that's when you become a problem. See, some of y'all ain't never noticed that, but that's the truth. You become a problem to other people when you're not doing what they want you to do because they couldn't do it themselves. So one thing I had to understand was the more I sat around and allowed folks to beat me down or mentally abuse me, I had to realize that the only reason why was because the lack of love that I was giving to that I didn't give to myself. So sometimes you got to understand that part too. You don't give yourself enough love. So some people who have the most illest intentions towards you can also see that you don't love yourself the way that you love them. And a lot of times it be because we try to fill a void a lot of times. And we don't never notice it until we actually sit down and be like, you know what? I got to go through all of these things with this one person and just imagine how much healing I'm going to have to do. Just imagine how many times I'm going to have to sit and get over these things that they have instilled in me when really and truly it wasn't supposed to be attached to me in the first place. Come on now. Some of y'all have to realize that it's not your fault that people don't love you properly. The only thing that's your fault is if you allow them to stay there longer than what they have than what they have to be. So a lot of times when you notice that your family and them don't really accept you, look around and see how many of them accept themselves. That's the hard conversation you need to have with yourself. How many of your family members accept them for who they truly are? They don't accept themselves. So how do you expect for them to accept you? Just because you came from it, don't mean you got to be accepted. So a lot of times we don't realize that as chosen folks. Some of y'all that say y'all chosen, y'all don't really evaluate enough because you have allowed yourself to be at the forefront of other people's visions that they want in their life. So a lot of times we don't even realize that we have been suffering so long. And we have allowed ourselves to be in a space where we don't get all of our blessings because of the attachment that we have to other people that don't belong in our life in the first place. So a lot of times, if you ever notice, you don't get along with some of your family members because of the simple fact that your spirit don't agree. It ain't nothing that, listen, if it was up to your flesh, you will be around them all the time. But the fact that your spirit does not agree, that's when you start to go against the grain when it comes down to certain things that they want you to do. Come on now. Some of y'all ain't never realized that, but that's the truth. Your spirit don't agree with certain environments, which is why Some of y'all don't even see why you don't belong there in the first place. I'd have been in situations where I have kept myself in a space that I knew I didn't belong in. Family functions, birthday parties, friend, whatever it was. I sat there because my flesh wanted to be there, but my spirit knew I didn't belong there. That's me not listening. That's me not allowing myself to actually walk the journey, because sometimes when you walk the journey, you'll realize that you're more powerful than what you think you are. So some of y'all that's on this live, I need for you to step in your power. Walk in your power. Some of y'all be so busy trying not to because you don't want to be the outcast. But let me tell you something. I'm going to break it down to you. You've been the outcast. Your whole entire life, you've been the outcast. You ain't have to do nothing. But people just specifically don't like you because of the glow and everything that you have over your life. Like I told somebody the other day, I said, even the most evilest people have a gift. So why y'all think that people job is they're so set on distracting you or, bringing you down? They also have a gift, and they also see what you have over your life, which is why they're so busy trying to distract you from wherever it is you're trying to go. So now I have realized that the more that I sit around folks who don't belong here, the longer it's going to take for me to get to my final destination when it comes down to where I need to be. So sometimes you have to really sit and have a real hard conversation with yourself and realize that most of the time, the only reason that you're behind is not because of you, but it's because of other people. When you realize that you have so many people in your life that try to control you and your narrative, you will start taking more control of your narrative than ever before. What I have learned is all the tears that I cried in 2024, they have been collected. And they're just waiting on me to collect them. So some of y'all didn't hear what I just said. Every tear that you have shed from any hurt, any trauma, any pain, they have been collected. But they're also waiting on you to collect them. And what I mean by them is the blessings that was attached to those tears. Some of y'all don't realize that. You done cried so much. You done beat yourself down so much. You done allowed yourself to go through a lot so much. You done allowed yourself to sit around and question yourself so much. But you have not really gave yourself enough grace. Because sometimes you got to realize that, life is what it is. Life is nothing but a big lesson. It's just all about how you see the lesson. And what I've learned is the only reason why life is hard is because the attachments that we have to people in our life. When I realized that I was more at peace, when I didn't have any attachments to a lot of people, that's when I realized that 9 times out of 10, the only reason why my life was hard was because I was attached to toxic things and toxic people. Life ain't hard. It's just what you're attached to make it hard. So sometimes you got to realize that when you are attached to things that don't mean you well or don't belong on the journey with you, that's what makes your life hard. That's what makes you feel like you're behind. Because a lot of times what you don't notice is you can be somewhere minding your business, and here comes somebody that have ill intentions towards you. They quickly knock you off. Because some folks that like I said, they have the most evilest intentions, they know you have a good heart. Some folks don't even have to try too hard because you're so busy giving to people instead of giving back to yourself. So what I had to understand is, in order for people to see me, love me, I got to be willing to lead by that example and show people this is not only an expectation to be in my life, but it's now a requirement to be here. So if you don't love me the way I love myself, then you can't be here. This is a requirement. This is not no high expectation. This is why I tell y'all all the time, when you lead by examples in your life, people can't say you have high expectations. You want to know why? Because you are the example of everything that you require. Let me say that again. You are the example of everything that you require. So sometimes you got to realize that. When you love yourself to wit's end, people in your life don't got no choice but to do the same thing. When you put yourself first and make yourself a priority, people that's in your life don't got no choice but to do the same thing. Sometimes you have to realize that's just what it is. You have to learn how to understand that people can't reciprocate energy to you if they don't even do it for themselves. So what I've had to learn was that part right there. I can't expect for people to reciprocate nothing that I give if they don't even know how to give it back to themselves first. Look how people treat themselves. Watch their characteristics and how they carry themselves. You can't expect anything more because they're going to do you the same exact way, if not worse. So what I have learned is I can't have people, this season of my life, I can't have people in my life who don't lead by examples in their own life. So what that means is it's a requirement for people to lead by examples in their own life because that's how I'm going to live my life. Sometimes y'all got to understand that. That's how you keep people in your life that reciprocate energy. Because if they do it for themselves, they'll do it for you and vice versa. And the only reason you would know that is because that's something that you would pick up on, and that's something that you will also do yourself. I've learned. Only reason why I was attracting narcissistic people was because I picked up on way too many traits and toxic traits from people that was attached to me for a long time. So it was work that I had to do on the inside of me. Because see, a lot of folks don't like to swallow that hard pill. Sometimes you got to really realize that when we say you are what you attract, we talk about in all areas of your life. We ain't talking about just one. We talking about all of them. So when you are what you attract, you got to understand. If you're not attracting the things that you require, become the requirement. Let me say that again. When you're not attracting what it is that you require, become the requirement. Some of y'all don't realize what I just said, but what I just said is you got to be okay with becoming the requirement for whatever it is that you want in your life and making people stand on whatever it is that you require. But you also got to stand on business. See, sometimes I had to realize that I used to always shift certain things in my life because I was so busy trying to fill a void because I was still suffering from childhood trauma, right? So what you don't realize is that trauma that you are still healing from is a void that will haunt you eventually if it's not healed. Because some of us feel like if we go in isolation, like I told y'all a couple lives ago, going in isolation without the problem is not going to do nothing but create a bigger problem. So a lot of times you got to tame the problem by isolating with the problem. So everything that you have suffered from, you got to find a solution to it. Some of y'all don't like to do that, but that's the truth. Everything that you have suffered from, you have to find a solution to it. So what that means is isolation is the most impactful and most powerful thing that you can ever do in your life, because now you have found a solution, but you have also found an answer to everything that caused trauma in your life, right? So what I realized was this right here. Healing ain't just going to therapy. Healing is actually learning how to forgive yourself for things that was out of your control, and also learning the importance of making sure that you can't blame yourself for how people carry themselves. So one thing I had to understand was sometimes I was over here beating myself up, trying to blame myself for the lack of love that I received from other people. But really and truly, that didn't have nothing to do with me. You want to know why? Because every time I loved somebody, that was something that I was able to control. That ain't have nothing to do with them. That was something that I controlled. So what that mean was, and what that mean is, you got to be okay with the fact that, baby, you control you in this season of your life. Nothing else. When you do right by you, you gonna do right by people. And sometimes being a people person, we put ourselves in alignment of getting hurt all the time. But let me tell you why. Because we expect ourselves out of other people. What I had to learn was I was over here suffering because I wanted people to treat me the way I treated them. But what I had to understand was this right here. I could not accept the fact that people wasn't treating me the way I was treating them. So I felt like I had to stick around to try to mold them to be what I was. And a lot of times, let me tell you something. It's never going to work. You can't mold nobody to be you if you're one of a kind. Have you ever thought about that? You can't mold nobody to love how you love if your love is one of a kind. How dare you try to stay in situations longer than what you have to try to get people to see you? How dare you stay in situations where you're not celebrated, but you're only tolerated because of the favor that you have over your life? I realized that a lot of stuff that I was doing it wrong. Because now I go where I'm celebrated, not where I'm tolerated. You want to know why? Because I celebrate myself first. Some of y'all got to realize, like, you can't beat yourself up for the stuff you went through. You can't beat yourself up for the things that people did to you. There's nothing that you can do about it. But one thing I will tell you is this right here. You got to realize how long you're going to stay in that place. Ask yourself the question. Because sometimes we got to unlearn unhealthy habits. Because we allow ourselves to go places and try to make an impact when our impact is not needed in those places that we're going to. So sometimes you got to realize, stop going where you're not needed. Because sometimes you try to convince yourself so much that this is a part of the assignment when, baby, it's not. That's not part of the assignment. You going over here where you're not wanted or where you are not needed is not a part of the assignment. The assignment is you understanding who you are so you can go to the places that you have been assigned to. So one thing I had to learn was that part right there. The more I sat around in places that I did not belong, the further I got behind. So not only am I behind, but guess what? Now I gotta pick up the broken pieces that was caused in these places that I did not belong in. Some of y'all gotta understand that. It ain't nothing wrong with how you do it and how you love and how you give. Hold on, y'all. Let me. Oh, Jesus. Let me help you right on out of here. Let me help you. I'm going to help you today. I'm going to help a lot of folks today. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I need for some of y'all to be okay with the fact that it's nothing wrong with how you love and how you give. But it is something wrong with not allowing yourself to be okay with receiving what you deserve. What I had to understand was that part right there. I was in so much pain and trauma that anytime things that happened to me that were good, I tried to convince myself that it wasn't for me. I tried to convince myself that the package was delivered to the wrong address because I felt like I wasn't in a space to accept it. Some of y'all got to get out your own head and get out your own way. That's for a specific group of people in this room. Some of y'all got to get out of your own way because you feel that you're not ready, or you feel like the package was delivered to the wrong address when it has been addressed to you. So how long are you going to convince yourself that you don't deserve good things? How long are you going to try to convince yourself that you don't deserve happiness and peace? How long are you going to try to convince yourself that you're not worthy? Some of y'all got to understand, you deserve it too. You deserve it too. I don't care what you went through when you was a kid. I don't care what you went through while you were an adult. You deserve it too. You deserve all things good. You deserve the blessings. You deserve the whatever it is that you want. Whatever vision that you have for your life, you deserve it all. And I'm here to tell you, be open to receive it. Be open to receive it. Stop sitting around thinking that you're unworthy, because you can get everything that you desire. All you got to do is learn how to master detachment. When I realized that part, I realized that a lot of stuff about my life was only making me feel bad because I wasn't detached from people who put me in that space of feeling like I didn't deserve. Some of y'all got to understand you are attached to a whole bunch of people who make you feel like you don't deserve good things because of the things that you went through or your past and the stuff that you have endured. A lot of us don't realize that the only reason why we're not open to receive anything greater is because the attachment to people in our life who don't want us to have greater. And 9 times out of 10, they don't want you to have greater because of the simple fact they know that as soon as you get greater, they're going to have to be cut off because they can't go with you. Let me say that again. A lot of folks in your life that you are attached to don't want you to get greater or don't want you to have anything better because they know as soon as you get to that level, then you're going to have to leave them behind. Some of y'all got to realize that that's just the truth. When you have constantly allowed yourself to be attached to folks who have talked you out of your blessings, you have been in situations where they have talked you out of your blessings because they know for a fact that you're going to have to leave them behind once you get there. When I realized that when I finally made my final destination, or when I got to that new chapter, or I got to that new level of my life, and I looked around and I seen that half of the people who were trying to convince me that I shouldn't go was the ones that I had to leave behind. It wasn't because they didn't belong there. It was because they weren't a part of the assignment. Some of y'all got to understand, like, when people aren't a part of the assignment, you going to feel so guilty. Those are the people that you feel the most guilty with leaving behind. The people that's not a part of the assignment. And you want to know why? Because you have allowed people's potential to overshadow who they really are. Hello, somebody. I was in situations where I allowed other people's potential to overshadow who they truly was. So I ain't really get to see the true version of them because their potential was blinding me the whole entire time. Some of y'all got to understand that's just the truth. When you allow yourself to be around folks just based on their potential that you see, you got to understand that's just the truth. When you allow yourself to be around folks just based on their potential that you see, a lot of times what you don't realize is this right here. When you have constantly allowed yourself to stick around longer than what you have to, and you have allowed people to climb up your back to get to the next level of their life, that's why you're always down, or that's why you're always drained, because you have constantly allowed yourself to be down and out when really and truly you were supposed to have been up the whole time. You know how many people then climbed your back to get to the next level and left you behind? A lot of people. Because you have allowed your vision of their potential to overshadow who they truly was. Let me tell you something. Sorry to bust your bubble. Sorry to bust your bubble. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you how it is. You know how many people that you have in your life, if they attach themselves to you because of your potential? You know how many people would have stayed in your life if they attach themselves to the vision of your potential? You have a lot of people in your life, huh? But folks don't attach themselves to you because of your potential. They attach themselves to you based on what you do and what you bring to the table. That's why when we say they love your hand and not your heart, it's because from day one you've been the giver. From day one you have been so stuck on giving that you ain't been able to receive nothing. So now I'm in a place of receiving, because everything that I have given out, I'm going to get it back tenfold when I start walking in my purpose. See, some of y'all not hearing me. You got to be okay with the simple fact that mastering detachment is one of the main things that will save your sanity in this season of your life. Let me say that again. Mastering detachment from people who don't deserve you is one of the main things that are going to help you save your sanity in this season of your life. Some of y'all got to realize that the only reason why you're going insane is because you keep on placing your love and your energy in the same places, expecting the same results, or expecting different results. That's why. And we're getting the same results. That's what drives you insane. When you put your love and your energy in the same spaces and give it to the same people and expecting different results, that's what drives you insane. These people have constantly showed you time and time again that they cannot live up to whatever it is that you need them to do to stay in your life. So now, here we are back at square one. Here we are back at square one. Because now we got to really realize that I done drove myself insane over the fact that people don't love me, and they have shown me time and time again that they don't. So what I had to do was this right here. I had to learn how to detach. I can no longer drive myself insane, hoping and praying that these people see me. Hoping and praying that these people are going to love me the way I love them. I can't keep driving myself insane with the fact that they don't reciprocate the energy that I give, period. So sometimes you got to realize the only reason why you got a headache in certain situations is because you're giving it to yourself. Because you've constantly placed yourself in a position of thinking that things are going to change when it's not. Sometimes you got to realize that, like, detaching is easy. It's your trauma that makes it hard. So let me break it down to you. The only reason why some of y'all can't detach, is because you're trying to fill a void that should have been filled a long time ago. See, what I had to understand was detaching was easy. You want to know why? Because as soon as I started to heal from the things that I went through, I learned how to detach from things that I learned the lesson from. Ooh, some of y'all don't notice that the reason why you are still attached to certain things and certain people is because you're still trying to fill a void in your life from the things that you've gone through before. So a lot of times you don't ever notice this, but the truth of the matter is some of y'all sit around and y'all try to love people who don't really love you. And then you constantly sit around and allow yourself to stay in places because you're trying to fill a void because you're in fear of being alone. So a lot of times it go like this. When you are attached to trauma and you don't heal from the trauma that you've already been through, sometimes it creates a deeper hole. So now you're in a much darker space than you were before. So you don't even realize that you're suffering the way that you are because you have allowed yourself to sit around and dig a deeper hole for yourself. But when you turn around, who's going to be there to help you? Nobody. You have dug a deeper hole. And now that you have dug this hole, you ain't got nobody to help you climb out of it. One thing I had to understand was that part right there. I was over here suffering by myself because I done dug a hole for myself for people who wasn't even supposed to be in my life. Make it make sense. Because the deeper I got, the farther back they went. Nobody was here to help me. I was so busy trying to not be by myself or fill voids that should have been filled a long time ago. Now, I got to do it all by myself. I got to do the process by myself. I got to climb out of this hole by myself. I got to suffer by myself. Because nobody here to help me. Nobody here to help me. Some of y'all got to realize the same thing with you. Nobody is there to help you. So what I had to understand was that part right there. You got to be okay with the fact that sometimes you got to be detached from people in order for you to truly heal. How did I heal? I healed by putting my pride to the side. I had to put my pride and my ego to the side because I felt like I was too good to go to therapy. That was number one. A lot of times people don't realize that your pride and your ego is what's keeping you from your greatness. When you let your pride and your ego lead you, you're going to be led to a dead end each and every time. Some of us let our pride and our ego get in the way of our growth. And a lot of times you don't realize that the only reason you're not growing is because you're still doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Insanity. Your pride too big to try something else. Your ego is way too big to try something else. Some of us don't even realize that our pride and our ego is what keeps us in control. So that's why some of us want to stay in the same spaces because we can control certain narratives. Some of y'all got to realize the only reason why you have not climbed the next chapter in your book is because you have not allowed yourself to go there first. Mentally, spiritually. Put your ego and your pride to the side and you will see that 9 times out of 10, most of the stuff that you have accepted has only been because of the simple fact that you have allowed yourself to sit there and accept it because you don't even know who you are, truly. Truly. Most of the trauma that I accepted was because of the lack of knowing who I was myself. So when I was getting mentally abused and entertaining narcissistic behavior, that's because I didn't know who I was. Because my pride and my ego led me to believe that I could change certain narratives of people that didn't belong in my life in the first place. So some of y'all got to realize that, baby, the more you sit around and wait, the longer it's going to take for you to find your purpose. Why are you sitting around waiting? Ain't nobody sitting around waiting on you. Come on now. You see, I want you to look around, and I want you to see how many people are waiting on you. Nobody's waiting on you. Nobody's sitting around waiting on you to be the best version of yourself. Nobody's sitting around doing it. When I realized that nobody was sitting around waiting on me, I had to get up and start walking by myself. Because I had to stop waiting on people too. Sometimes you got to really realize, like, in order for you to get to the places and the spaces that you belong in, you got to go by yourself, baby. You got to go by yourself. You got to walk by yourself. Sometimes you got to realize that that's going to be the most hardest thing for some of y'all, because y'all have been so busy trying to hold on to people and hold on to that false hope. But baby, you got to let that go, because the more you hold on, the longer it's going to take you. Just saying. Why you think some of us have to be stripped away from certain people? Because God gave you the opportunity to walk away on your own. But whenever you didn't walk away on your own, now he got to strip you away from them. You know how, I don't know if some of y'all done got waxes before, but it's like a waxing strip. You didn't want to do it on your own, so now I got to separate you by force. And that's what causes us to be in this position of hurting so bad. Because you had the decision to make to do it on your own, but you decided not to. In order for you to elevate, it comes with separation. And you either do it on your own, or when he do it for you, it's going to be even more, it's going to be a little bit more painful. So what I had to understand was that part. I didn't understand it at first, but now I got it. Now I understand. I even had to tell my own mama. I said, Mommy, I know you want what's best for your kids. I know you want what's best for your children. And this is what I told my mama. I said, but sometimes you got to realize that when you always place your hand on a prayer that you gave to God, you're starting the clock over. So some of y'all that be praying and y'all be asking God to fix something, every time you place your hand on it, you're starting the clock over. So sometimes you got to realize that when you place it at his feet, leave it there. Some of y'all be talking about, well, what about the kids? What about them? You prayed about it, right? Leave it there. You don't even realize that the more you put your hands on it, you're starting the clock over again. So you're constantly placing yourself in the cycle of being in a space where you're upset about something that you can't control. I told my mama that. I told my mommy, I said, look, you have raised your children to the best of your ability. You have raised them with all the qualities that they need to have a great life. But the more you place your hands on your kids' life and not really allow God to lead them, you start the clock over. You start the cycle over. You start the traumatic thoughts all over again. So here we are back at square one. You know what my mama said to me? She said, you know what? I ain't never thought about it like that, but you're right. I got to allow God to do whatever he gonna do. Because if I pray about it, I can't expect for him to move on my time. He's gonna always move on his time. So some of y'all got to understand, you got to stop allowing yourself to be in a position where you think you're more powerful than who he is. What I had to understand was, baby, when I pray about something, I've always been in a position where I got everything that I needed. How many of y'all have been in situations where you didn't know how you was going to get it, but somehow in that moment that you needed it the most, you had it? Some of us feel like we're being ignored, or he don't hear us. But baby, he hear you. He just not coming when you want him to. So sometimes I had to understand that part. It wasn't that he was leaving me behind. It was that when I was praying for it, he was somewhere preparing my answer. So when I thought he didn't hear me, when I thought he didn't understand, he was somewhere preparing my answer. Every time you pray for something, he's preparing it for your good. And some of us don't really realize that because we be so busy trying to move, such in a rush and in a hurry, that we don't really realize that sometimes we have prayed for something over and over again. But sometimes you got to understand, that's like somebody calling you with the same issue over and over again. Eventually you're going to get tired of it, right? Some of us treat God like that. We feel like every time we want something so bad that we got to pray for it each and every time we talk to him. Sometimes you got to realize, you got to start understanding that that can be frustrating too. When you only go to God when it's something that you want, you can't always expect for him to answer it right then and there. Because it might not be what you need in that moment. What I had to understand is I done prayed for a lot of stuff. Yes, I did. I have. I have prayed for a lot of stuff. But what I had to understand is this right here. Everything that I prayed for might not come in that moment because I might not be prepared to accept it for what it is. So some of y'all got to understand, you got to stop trying to rush the process because you feel like everything is a rush because you feel like you're so behind. Baby, that's not the case in this situation. Just because you feel like you're behind, sometimes you got to understand the best person that's in control is the best person who has already written the story before you got here. So what I had to understand was that part right there. When I'm constantly in a position where I try to take control over God, you know how many times I've been sat down on my butt because I've tried to be in control of things that didn't need my control. So now I'm over here suffering when I didn't even have to suffer in the first place. Because I was so frustrated and I was trying my best to make everybody else proud that was around me or make everybody else satisfied when really and truly the only person that I needed to satisfy was him alone. Sometimes sitting down is a part of the narrative. Sometimes sitting down is a part of your story. Sometimes sitting down is what allow you to understand what pace is. Some of y'all don't allow yourself to have a steady pace because you're so busy trying to move fast because you feel like you got a lot to do in so little time. But one thing I had to understand is it's not that you don't have the time. It's not that you don't have the time. It's the fact that you don't have enough people around you encouraging you to take your time. And let me say that again. It's not that you don't have the time. It's the fact that you don't have enough people around you encouraging you to take your time. Around you encouraging you to take your time. What I had to understand was this season of my life, my circle is important. My circle is important. I got to have people around me who encourage me to take my time. Because what I didn't realize was I had people around me trying to rush me for their own benefit. It's not that they wanted to see me win. It's not that they wanted to see me prosper. They just wanted to continue to use me. So sometimes you got to understand that when you are in a space or in a season of your life where you got to have a steady pace. That's not a punishment. That ain't no punishment. That's something that you need to do. Because what I had to understand, which was a hard pill for me to swallow, was this right here. When I had a steady pace, the more I accomplished. But when I was moving fast, the more fumbles on the play I had. Ooh. Let me say that again. When I had a steady pace, the more I accomplished. But when I was moving fast, the more fumbles on the play I had. So some of y'all don't understand. It ain't nothing you can do about it. But the only thing you can do is this right here. Detaching. Because as soon as you detach, they gonna talk about you. They gonna talk about you. They gonna say you're acting funny. They gonna say all of these things. But what I want you to do is weed out the noise. Because sometimes that's a distraction anyway. When some of y'all allow folks to be in your ear all the time, that's a distraction. For once in your life, I need for you to at least hear God clearly for once. Just hear him clearly. I don't care what it is. Just hear him clearly for once. And I guarantee you that one time that you hear him clearly, you'll never go back to the distractions that was attached to you. When I realized that God was talking to me in some spaces and some seasons of my life, when I got rid of some distractions, I finally heard him clearly for once. And when I tell y'all ever since then, I ain't looked back. When I tell y'all ever since then, that's the only thing that I want to hear. Sometimes you got to understand, like, when you are in a space or in a season of your life where you have not allowed yourself to hear God clearly, and you have allowed distractions to overcome everything, when it come down to where you're going in your life, you gotta be okay with the simple fact that sometimes you gotta weed out all the noise and just listen. Sometimes it's okay to just listen. Sometimes you got to understand that's what peace is. It's silent. It's the best peace I've ever had is when I was sitting in silence and I actually got to hear nothing. That was the best time of my life, when I actually was in isolation and I actually got to actually hear myself think for once. Silence is everything. Because silence also makes a big impact too. Because as soon as you go silent, that's when you make hell nervous. Some of y'all think you make hell nervous by being loud and being mad and being angry. No. When you go silent, that's when you make hell nervous. Some of y'all don't understand that that's the truth. When you go silent, whoo, you make so many people nervous. Them the people you need to be paying attention to. When you minding your business and drinking your water and worrying about what you got going on over here and you're focused, them the ones that you need to be paying attention to, the ones that get nervous. Them the ones you need to be paying attention to, because 9 times out of 10, them the ones that envy you the most. You want to know why? Because the ones that envy you can't keep up with you when you're silent. The ones that envy you can't keep up with you when you're silent. Some of y'all got to understand that that's just the truth. Baby, when you silent, you make so many people nervous. And the reason that they get nervous is because of the simple fact that they don't know what you got going on. They don't know the next move you're going to make. They don't know what I'm saying? You got so many people that are in secret competition with you, and you feel like you don't have nothing to be in competition with. Some of y'all got to understand. You got so many people that's sitting around you right now that's in secret competition with you, it's not even funny. But the reason they're in competition with you want to know why? It's because the glow that you have over your life and the favor that you have over your life is not something that they have. So a lot of times you have people who envy you based off something that you can't even control. I told y'all sometime last year, I said, listen, if it was up to me, you think I would have chosen to be chosen? If it was up to me, you think I would have chosen to have all this favor over my life? If it was up to me, do you think I would have chosen to be the generational curse breaker in my family? Absolutely not. You want to know why? Because I am the type of person, I'm not even confrontational. I don't even want to be at the forefront of everybody else's life. I don't want to be at the forefront of the legacy that's going to get led by me. I don't want to do it. I didn't sign up for it. But since I am on an assignment, I ain't got no choice. Some of y'all got to understand, like, you got to understand, like, you ain't got no choice when you're on an assignment. And you got some people that are mad because the assignment has been assigned to you and not them. I be trying to tell people all the time, listen, this ain't my fault. If it was up to me, baby, I would be somewhere else. I'll be somewhere else doing something that I want to do. But instead, I got to do stuff that God asked me to do, because since I'm a vessel of him, I can't do nothing else outside of his will. So this is what I have been assigned to do, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stick to it. That's it. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, you know? It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So if I ain't, hey, listen, every last one of y'all that's in this room, if you have not heard anything that I've said today, I want you to listen to me loud and clear when I say this. Let 2025 be the year that you lead by example. Okay? Let 2025 be the year that you lead by example. We're not doing no more talking. We talked too much last year. We ain't doing no more talking. Now, it's time for you to walk it like you talk it. Now, it's time for you to live up to the hype. Yeah. 2025 is going to be the year of impact. And I need a lot of y'all to brace yourselves. And I need for a lot of y'all to get ready. Because there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen that's going to be outside of your control. And guess what? It's a lot of more haters that's coming your way. It's a lot of more people that's going to envy you that's coming your way. And I need for you to get prepared. I need for you to put your seatbelt on. Because it's going to be a wild ride. And that's okay. Because you've already been prepared for it. Okay? One thing I had to understand was, the things that I have encountered. When I look back on at the hands of time, I was already prepared for it. I just didn't realize it in that moment because I did not use the equipment that God gave me from the lessons in my past or the things that I've already went through. Some of y'all already got to understand. You got to understand he don't put you in situations that you're not equipped for. Come on now. Some of y'all got all the tools that you need. You're just not allowing yourself to utilize the tools because you're scared. Stop living in fear. Stop allowing yourself to live in fear. Stop allowing yourself to sit around and soak in your feelings because you're not doing nothing but being left behind. It's time to go up. It's time to climb the ladder. It's time to brace yourselves. It's time to put your seatbelt on. It's time. So let's go, y'all. 2025 is going to be so impactful. It's going to be so great. And I truly believe that I need all the generational curse breakers to step up to the front. I need all the generational curse breakers to step up to the front. All of y'all. Every last one of y'all, I need all of y'all to step up to the front right now. Some of y'all don't like to hear it, but the truth of the matter is this right here. It ain't nothing you can do about it. It ain't nothing you can do about it. You were chosen. It ain't nothing you can do about it. I be trying to tell people all the time, listen, it ain't nothing you can do about it. Nothing at all. Come on, step up. Come on. Come on up here to the front. Come on up here to the front. I need for you to step front and center. 2025 is a year that generational curses are going to be broken. 2025 is a year that you're going to be the first millionaire in your family. 2025 is going to be the year that you bring generational wealth in your family. Sometimes you got to understand, like, at a certain point, you got to just step up to the podium because he going to keep on calling on you each and every time. Each and every time. So go ahead and get your little jitters out the way. Go ahead and get whatever it is out the way. But he going to call on you each and every time. It ain't going to be nothing you can do about it. Yeah. Sorry to break it to you. I'm sorry to break it to you, but it is what it is. We're moving on up in the world. We have things to accomplish and things to do. So let's go. Listen, I tell y'all all the time, every time I come on this live, listen, I don't know how to be fake. Because let me tell you why. I only keep it real with people because I know I would want people to keep it real with me. And a lot of times, like I said, I have been in spaces where I have had so many fake and phony people around me. that I have allowed myself, or I allowed myself at a certain point to mold myself to their ways. And what I didn't realize was they were rubbing off on me too much because I was so busy trying to keep up with them. But when I detached from them, that's when I realized that the realness and the authenticity that I have on the inside of me, that ain't nothing that can be duplicated. So you got folks that you're trying to keep up with that's in your life. Baby, listen. They trying to keep up with you. The illusion is them keeping up with you. They're trying to keep up with you and you so busy trying to keep up with them, but the whole time is you didn't allow them to stick around longer than what they had to. So now you over here looking crazy because you trying to figure out what's really the issue. The issue is when folks can't put their hands on whatever it is that you have as far as your favor. When they can't put their hands on it, that's when it becomes a problem. What I had to understand was people became frustrated with the favor that I had over my life because they couldn't control it. Clock that T. When they can't control it, that's when you become a problem and an issue. Just saying. Some of y'all don't understand it, but that's the truth. I'd had so many people that I look back on and I'm like, you know what? I should have never been attached to them people because ain't no way these people really that fake and phony. Because this whole entire time, I done had my glasses off and I couldn't see them for who they really was. I seen them for who I wanted them to be. Because see, we allow, like I told y'all earlier, we allow that potential to overshadow certain people and who they truly are and their characteristics. Now when I keep my glasses on, I got 20/20 vision for a reason. Come on now. Some of y'all be so scared. You don't even allow yourself to understand that potential don't pay the bills. Potential don't pay the bills. And also, it don't feed your spirit either. Let me say that again. Potential don't pay the bills, but it also don't feed your spirit either. Your job didn't hire you for your potential. They hired you for your qualifications and what you could do. Yeah. Some of y'all got to realize, that's how you got to run your life, like a corporation. I hire people based on what they can do, not the potential of them. Just saying. I try to be real nice to y'all when I deliver certain things because I don't be wanting y'all to think that your delivery is so mean. No, my delivery is so real, and a lot of times you don't realize that that's what you need. Sometimes you got to realize that you got to run your life like a corporation because the more you have people in your life who don't meet the qualifications, the more you have underqualified candidates in those seats. So what I had to understand is business. And I'm going to handle my business when it come down to my life 24/7. That's it. I'm going to handle my business when it come down to my life 24/7. I'm going to handle the business at all times. Because see, when it come down to things that I need to do and things I need to accomplish, I don't need nobody standing in the way of what God got for me. And I don't need nobody to set me back from what God got for me. Because sometimes what I had to realize and the hardest pill I had to swallow was this right here. The only reason why I missed out on a lot of opportunities was because my attachments to other people. A lot of us miss out on opportunities because the attachments to other people that don't belong in our life. Let me tell y'all something. You know how many times I've been in situations where I didn't look back and tried to turn back the hands of time because I felt bad for those people. You want to know why? Because as soon as you get to a place of seeing the disaster before it happened, Sometimes you got to understand that's a gift. So God just warned you before destruction. So what I had to understand was when these people was removed from my life, God warned me about the destruction before it actually happened. So what I had to understand was when these people walked away from me, or I had to walk away from them and detach from them, I had to realize something. When a lot of people thought they were the blessing to me, I really was a blessing to them. Some folks don't understand the assignment that you have in their life. So a lot of times what's going to hurt you the worst is you actually walking away from them without them actually passing the assignment. Some folks pray. You know what I said to somebody the other day? They were watching one of my videos. They said, "Akira, can you break this down for me? Because I don't really understand." I said, what don't you understand? They was like, "You said that, sometimes when people pray, they might pray for one specific thing. But sometimes that one specific thing that they're praying for might not come in the form that they're praying for." So what that means is sometimes when people pray for certain things in their life, they really don't know that it comes in all forms just to see if they're going to pass the test or not. Some folks don't pass a test because it wasn't in the form that they prayed for, which is why a lot of people miss out on their blessings. Because you got to be careful what you pray for, because sometimes God can send it to you in form of a person. You know how many times people done fumbled you? They done prayed for a certain amount of money, or they done prayed for something greater than where they are or what they have, and God sent you, and they didn't understand the assignment. What I had to understand was that part right there. You got to be careful, because you never know when you're being tested. Some folks that missed out on their blessing because the whole time it came in form of a person, and that person was you. I be trying to tell folks, you got to be careful with me, because God don't play about me. Same thing with some of y'all. God don't play about you. Some of y'all can walk away from somebody today or tomorrow, and sometimes that be your protection. When you know it's time to walk away from a certain person or a certain situation. Some of y'all got to understand that just be a gift that you have, because that's what we call discernment. Some of y'all don't listen to y'all discernment enough for me. In 2025, I need each and every one of y'all in this room, if you don't do nothing else, mastering detachment and discernment will help save your sanity. Because a lot of times we don't save our sanity enough because we so busy trying to give our sanity out to people who don't deserve it. So what I had to understand was sometimes I got to learn how to give myself a little grace of understanding that I ain't always been this person. But the person I am now, I know I didn't put it in the work to get to where I need to be. That's it. Some of y'all need to get ready. I've been saying this from day one. I don't know what it is about 2025, but it's going to be big. Not only is it going to be big, but I have realized this is going to be the year of reassurance. This is going to be the year of certainty. This is going to be the year of richness. This is going to be the year of knowledge. A lot of us going to learn a lot this year, but a lot of us going to also gain a whole bunch too. And I'm prepared. I've been saying this from day one. Listen, I don't know what it is. I just feel so good about 2025, regardless of all the distractions that we're seeing that's going on the news. And I think that that's going to put a lot of people in a space where they question, who God is. But sometimes you got to understand us woke folks, us people that are chosen, this is a time for us to wake up. This ain't no time for you to go to sleep. This is a time for us chosen folks to be up. Y'all heard what I said? With all the stuff that's going on in the world, us chosen folks, this is the time for us to be up. Be vigilant. Pay attention. What y'all don't understand is that sometimes we don't pay attention, and that's what causes us to be in a space of uncertainty, or we always become we always become confused because we're not paying attention. So it's time to pay attention. Stay woke. You gotta stay woke. You gotta stay woke. If you don't do nothing else in 2025, stay woke and learn how to master detachment and discernment. That's all I got for y'all today. That's all I got for y'all today. I ain't got nothing else for y'all because listen. I wasn't even gonna come on here today. But the reason that I came on here was because let me tell y'all something. I don't know what it is, but every time I come on this live, I am being used. And I'm not saying misused, because sometimes people got to understand, we use things and people every day. It's the fact that you misuse people, right? But I be used every time I come on here, because everything that I say to y'all is everything that I need to hear for myself. And let me tell y'all something. Sometimes you got to be okay with allowing yourself to deliver the message, but also hearing it for yourself, because sometimes the message be for you too. You can talk all that stuff to other people, but let me tell you something. When you deliver certain messages, sometimes all you got to do is just listen to yourself and take your own advice. So a lot of times when I be up here talking to y'all, I be also talking to me, because it be something that I be going through that God wants me to deliver out loud. Let me tell y'all something. What's so crazy about some of y'all on this live is that some of y'all are so gifted and you're so motivating that you don't even allow yourself to see you. And what that mean is you have constantly allowed yourself to sit over here on your gift because you don't want everybody else to see who you truly are. And what I had to understand was, baby, I got to stop being so scared about my gift and start being okay with being used, because I am a true vessel. Some of y'all are a true vessel, and it's time for you to wake up and smell the coffee. Stop sitting on your gift because you don't want to be at the forefront. That's over with. You ain't got no choice now. You don't have a choice now. You don't have a choice but to be at the forefront now. Some of y'all got to understand that part right there. You got to learn how to stop being in a position where you're always sitting on your gift. Some of y'all are so motivating. You can be a motivational speaker too. You can be a life coach too. You can travel the world and tell your testimony too. You already got the deliverance, because let me tell you something. All you got to do is open up your mouth. Some of y'all can be in ministry. You can do whatever you want to do and do whatever you set your mind to. But some of y'all be so scared because you be scared of what other folk gonna think about you. It's not the fact that you're in fear of failing. Some of y'all don't be scared of failing. You be scared of what other people gonna say. Stop being so scared about what people gonna say about you, because they've been talking about you your whole life. One thing I had to understand was, baby, listen. It don't matter if I get on here and start preaching or not, or if I start talking about God or not. Guess what? They've been talking about me my whole life. That ain't gonna be nothing new. Some of y'all gotta understand it's nothing new with certain people. And sometimes you gotta be okay with the simple fact that sometimes certain people gonna talk about you anyway. Regardless to what you say, regardless to what you put on, regardless to how you move, they gonna talk about you regardless. And when you learn that, you will learn how to place yourself in the position of always winning, because now you ain't worrying about folks' opinion, because your folks' opinion don't make you. Now I'm in a space where I understand folks' opinion don't make me. I make myself, and I make my own decisions. So that's why 2025 is so important to me. Some of y'all, it might sound cliche because you probably heard 100 people say 2025 is going to be the year. I really feel like 2025 is going to birth a lot of people, because some people have been trying to find their purpose so long, and some of y'all are about to come across your purpose, and it's going to be way bigger than you expect. What I'm learning is your purpose is way bigger than you. So when you start walking in your purpose, I want to tell you something. You're going to be in rooms that you feel like that you feel like you don't belong in. You're going to be in spaces that you feel like you are the outcast in. But sometimes your purpose will place you in positions. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all not ready. Sometimes your purpose will place you in positions that you feel like you don't belong in. And what's so hurtful about it is you really feel like you don't belong there because of the simple fact you feel like you're not good enough. What I had to understand was it's not that I wasn't good enough. It was just the fact that I didn't believe in myself enough. I've always been good. I've always been great. I've always been this person. But sometimes you got to understand there's layers to you. So every time you start a new chapter of your life, you got to peel back a layer. And some of y'all don't peel back enough layers, and that's why you feel like you're not good enough. That's why you feel like you got to be perfect in every situation, and you don't. Every level requires a new level. Requires a new layer to be revealed. And sometimes you got to understand, like, it just comes with the territory of being great, and it just comes with the territory of being chosen. It's hard, but let me tell you something. It ain't nothing you can do about it. It's nothing that you can do about being chosen. Sometimes you got to understand every day you wake up and you put your best foot forward. That's the only requirement. That's the only requirement that you need to do to actually fully walk in your purpose. Some of y'all looking for your purpose. I'ma say this. Some of y'all that are looking for your purpose are using that as an excuse because your purpose has already found you. You already know exactly what your purpose is. Some of y'all keep on talking about, I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what I should be doing. Yes, you do. It has already came and found you. You're just trying to run away from it because you don't feel like you fit the description. When I felt like I didn't fit the description of what my purpose was, you know how many times I didn't try to talk myself from getting on live and talking to people? Because I said I wasn't good enough, or I said I wasn't pretty enough, or I said I didn't belong on a platform. You know how many times I didn't talk myself out of doing everything that was attached to my purpose? Because I was making excuses because I felt like I didn't need to be there. Some of y'all got to realize that sometimes you just make those excuses because you live in fear of the success that's going to come with it. Because see, when you climb the ladder of success, you know that you got to leave a lot of things behind, what I told y'all earlier. And sometimes being successful also means that you unlock new demons in your life. Some of y'all got to understand success comes with demonic spirits. So when you become successful in your purpose, it's going to be a lot of demonic spirits that try to attack you. Because now that you have been attached to your purpose, now they're going to be used as a distraction. So a lot of y'all don't realize that most of the time when you are over here suffering and trying to talk your way out of your purpose, you're not doing nothing but allowing the demonic spirits that's in your life to win. Y'all ain't doing nothing but allowing them to win. But sometimes you got to realize that the reason that the demonic spirits that's attached to you are constantly winning is because you're constantly allowing them to. When you realize that part, you'll realize that a lot of the stuff that go wrong in your life don't come from you. It comes from the people that's attached to you. And you will start moving a little different. Because if you have been traveling or you've been moving in your life so cautiously, right? And some of y'all already know where I'm about to get ready to go with this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If you have been moving so cautiously, and you've been moving in a way where you don't want to be hurt again, what the heck make you think that you're going to get hurt again if you know all the ways to move? Have you ever just thought back in the back of your mind that, you know what? Every time certain people come around me, I always feel like I'm under attack. Every time certain people come around me, I always feel like I'm being drained. Every time certain people come around me, it always feels like I'm slowing up. Because it's the people. It don't got nothing to do with you. Sometimes you got to understand, most of the stuff that happen in your life don't come from you. It comes from the people that you're attached to. Come on now. When you are on the journey of finding your purpose, you are the most vulnerable that you will ever be in your life. Some of y'all don't like to believe it, but that's the truth. When you are on the journey to find your purpose, you are the most vulnerable that you will ever be in your life. When you realize that, you'll realize that you got to protect yourself at all costs. Everybody can't have an attachment to you. Everybody can't be attached to you. Because of that alone, you are the most vulnerable when you're so busy trying to find your purpose because you're not paying attention to the people and the demonic spirits that's trying to attack you. Because you're so busy trying to hone in on finding your purpose. When I realized that a lot of times when my back was turned, that's when I got attacked the most. Because I was on the journey of finding my purpose. But demonic spirits use it as an opportunity to attack me and knock me off track. Some of y'all don't realize that's you right now. You're so vulnerable because you're on the journey of trying to find your purpose. So you got people that's trying to attack you simply because they want you to be on the same level with them. Because they know that as soon as you rise above, you will be nowhere to be seen again. Some folks don't want to let you go. But you got to be willing to let them go first. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Sometimes you don't want folks to leave, but they gotta go in order for you to get that last piece to the puzzle that you need to solve. What I had to understand was that part right there. The pieces to my puzzle. I can no longer give them away in this season of my life. Because I need every puzzle piece in 2025 to complete the puzzle of where I'm trying to go. Some of y'all walking around puzzled because you ain't got all the pieces to your puzzle. Because you've been so busy trying to give it away to folks who don't really deserve it. It's time to wake up. I love you though. I'm going to tell you the truth. I love you and I'm going to tell you the truth. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. And a lot of y'all got to start preparing. Start preparing. That's all I got for y'all today. I love y'all though. I love each and every one of y'all. My lives are going up on YouTube. So if you guys have not subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, make sure you go subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can go back and watch all of the lives that I'm going to upload. I'm going to just do a mass upload because I can't. Something is going on with the TikTok, with the downloading of the lives. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to have to upload them once all of them download to my phone, and I'm going to send them over to YouTube. So you guys make sure you go over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Another thing, y'all. I don't know what's going on with the whole TikTok thing because I don't know how long they're going to be here. So we got to start our transition soon of going to another platform. So you guys get prepared for that. If you want to watch me live, I'm probably 9 times out of 10 going to go live on YouTube once we reach 1,500. Once we reach 1,500, we're going over there to YouTube. All of my platforms are the same: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I am Akira Rajane. Real simple, real simple. It's the same way that I spell it on TikTok. It's the same way I spell it on all of the other platforms. So y'all make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to the YouTube, please. Please, 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 because I will probably start the transition in the next couple weeks. Once I hit 1,500, I'm going over there to YouTube. That's it. That's all. Once I go over there to YouTube, it's gonna be really rare that I be on TikTok because I don't want people to get their hopes up of seeing me and they take it away at any given time. So, y'all make sure y'all go over there and follow the YouTube channel. But happy Tuesday to y'all. I hope each and every one of y'all that stepped in the room today got everything that you needed today. And always remember, if ain't nobody told you that they loved you, I do. All right. So here we are again, loving on each other, and always remember that no matter what you do, always be proud of you. A lot of us not proud of ourselves enough because we feel like we ain't did a lot, but baby, you have done a lot. You here, you breathing, you living, you have done enough. All right, so you deserve everything good, and always remember that sometimes we don't allow ourselves to give ourselves grace. Like I be telling people all the time, like, I'm so graceful now, it don't even make no sense. I'm only walking and moving with grace. That's it. That's it. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you guys sometime tomorrow. Before I get off, I'm going to tell y'all this. Because I've been battling with something. I don't know what it is. But I gotta go to my neurologist tomorrow. And I don't know what's going on, but I've had a headache for 3 weeks straight. I don't know what's happening. So I was nervous because I sometimes when you go into situations where you don't know, it can be nerve-wracking. But I want y'all to know how hard it is to face the unknown and still have to walk the walk, right? So I just want y'all to know that even though it is hard for me, I'm still striving to be my best self. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. But y'all, it's been a rough couple weeks for me. And I know y'all probably gonna say it don't look like it. Yeah, it don't look like it, but your girl been going through it. So I go see my specialist tomorrow. So y'all just say a prayer for me. Like I said, I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's something that can be easily fixed. But like I said, I appreciate y'all. Some of y'all just don't know what y'all do for me when y'all actually check on me and y'all hit me up. Because, sometimes we be like, you got to check on your strong friends too, right? So it's a process, but it's already done. It's already handled. I'm not going overthink it. So I may not come on tomorrow. Y'all probably won't see me till Thursday. So once I get everything out the way, we're going to go back to our regular scheduled program. All right? So if y'all don't see me tomorrow, don't be startled. We'll start back up on Thursday and Friday, and we'll meet right back here. No specific time. Make sure you got your notifications on. And yeah, that's it. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And we're off. Bye, y'all.